Welcome back to another version of Discovering the Foundations of Truth. Again, my name is John Lemus.
I am Director Mullah.
Hussein Ambroa.
And real quick, Discovering the Foundations of Truth is just based on the premise that if something you're suffering in life, it actually has to do with not knowing the truth about, God's way in that area. So the more truth you know, the less you're going to suffer. As usual, I usually start out just trying to stimulate our minds by asking a few questions. My first question to you guys is, what's this mean? Nothing strengthens authority so much as silence. So nothing strengthens authority so much as silence. How can silence strengthen authority? How can silence be what strengthens somebody's authority?
Silence of truth, you're saying, right?
I'm just talking about like being silent. It actually gives strength to authority.
Well, if I break it down in two parts, the more silent you are, the more secure you are. You know who you are.
Okay.
Because usually the loudest person in the room is usually the
most insecure. Yeah.
Insecure person.
Okay.
And not only that, when you see somebody acting a fool, and if you go to their if you match the energy, that completely sees you insecure and also brings you to their level, which you can't put. They're just gonna go back to the same level as you. So now nobody's taking a lead in that situation.
Okay.
But if you're silenced, you have time to think and take the next action rather than
respond.
Rather than reacting right away, you responding and taking a lead. Leadership, to me, is more like you're taking it's a way of showing that you're secure, you know what you're doing, and you're trying to watch out for everybody.
Okay. You just went over about three different topics there.
Yeah.
As far as something strengthening authority as silence is, like say the government wants their authority to not be questioned. What they try to do, they try and silence anybody's behaviors or any kind of propaganda. That's where I was thinking about with that. Yeah, they handle it before it becomes a problem. If they see someone start to gather about something, and they'll either use it to their benefit or they'll try and squash it.
Sound of that.
Yeah. Okay, do not try and change people. They're only messengers telling you who you are. So you revalue yourself, and you'll confirm your change by the way they're acting.
Oh, most definitely.
So why don't you want to try and change people?
I mean, realistically, in a sense, if they don't see the change in themselves, they will never change.
Okay.
So I look at it.
So can you change somebody else?
No, they have to have the will to do it themselves.
Yeah, they have to do themselves. Okay, so it says don't try and change people. They're only messengers telling you who you are. So if you look at them as not trying to change them, but you look at them as somebody to help you understand who you are, then you'll be on your way. Okay.
Well, how would they be messengers then?
Because they're going to actually react to how you're being. You know what I'm saying? They're going to tell you how you're being if you watch them.
Yeah.
So say I feel like I'm in authority. You act like I'm a boss. I'm trying to do this or that. They're going to let you know that you're actually doing what you're supposed to do. They're actually messengers of what you're trying to do.
I think I'm taking messenger, completely different because messenger.
Giving somebody a message about the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way you got to look at it. Like I said, I can't change you, but seeing you acting a certain way, kind of, I guess, codifies or kind of strengthens my idea of what I am in my own self.
I'm looking at it more like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Different. Yeah, he's not a prophet. Yeah, it's different. Okay, okay. All right, here's a good one for y'all. What are some unique gifts and talents God has blessed you with? Okay, awareness is the first thing. So if you're aware of your talents or your gifts, then you can move towards where you want to use them.
I want to hear your gifts and talent that God has blessed.
What are my gifts and talents?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, if you were to name 5, what would they be?
5. That's a
5
lot.
of my best ones.
5 of your best ones.
I guess understanding, so taking the idea that I'm not supposed to know it all, so I have to go out and find some information. I'd say seeing the God in everybody I look at. I have to.
What do
look
you
at
mean by seeing the God in everybody?
There's a piece of God in everybody that I deal with on a daily basis. I have to be able to see that piece as opposed to the behaviors they're exhibiting at that time or how they're acting. You know, it's like I said, you have to see the good in that person. So I
And
guess he
like-
gave me a talent for that. You know?
Yeah. If the God in every, like, what are 3 things of those godly things that you see in a person? Because I don't just
I see that they have
somebody
a,
will not somebody will not be able to understand that.
Yeah, I see that they have a purpose, or I have to look at them as if they have a purpose, that they absolutely have to be here at this time, you know, and that they have something to offer to me. You know, I mean, everybody has something to offer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they would not be here.
Yeah, and I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So-
Yeah, I'll let you continue. I
Okay,
just want
no,
to get a little bit deeper in your
Yeah.
your 5 gifts of God has given you, because you gave understanding, God in everybody. So you got 3 more.
Okay, so more gifts I see or I have in me. Okay, so I'd have to say the gift to want to teach. Okay, it's not, the idea is you don't want to take all this information in and just keep it for yourself. You know, we're supposed to actually help each other, you know, so that's another one. I mean, definitely patience. Like I said, I have to be able to be patient in my job that I'm doing. Otherwise, it will drive you bananas. I guess the last one is that I do understand that I have to be the one. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not the one. You don't want to mess with it."
Yeah.
If you are the one, then you're the one that's actually in charge of making sure things are going well. You know, and like I said, I have to step up, knowing that I've been gifted with some ideas, understanding all that kind of stuff, that I can see a situation and make sure it kind of, you know, goes to where it's supposed to go.
I like them.
Okay, so just give me one then. Give me one of your unique gifts or talents that God has blessed you with, Hussein. What's your number one gift? What do you think that he gave
number
you?
one gift.
Yeah.
Explaining things. I can feel
Okay.
like I can.
That's
explain
huge. I'm
things a
telling you.
lot.
Yeah, you can actually, if you can break something down that's complex,
Yeah.
that's actually a gift of the Spirit. What do you think, Haji?
I think my God-given, abilities is confidence.
Okay.
Like, if I say I'm gonna do something, I make it happen no matter what. So I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
calling
it could be
confidence.
determination or
Yes, determination is
You're
one.
definitely determined. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's one of the things. Yeah, I didn't know
Follow
the
through.
word, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
Okay.
determination.
All right. So next question. Always remember someone else's effort reflects their interest in you. So how much effort you're getting out of somebody else actually reflects their interest in what, you're capable of doing or you're doing at the moment. So what does that mean? What if they're not interested?
I mean, you won't
Say you ask somebody, say you ask somebody to do something, they say, "No, I'm good." What's that tell you?
I mean, it depends what you ask them to do.
Yeah.
But other than that, it'd just be like, okay, I understand.
Yeah, once they
point
show
of
you
view.
their colors, don't try and repaint them.
Mm-hmm.
You ask them one time to do something. If they, like I said, there's a difference between being committed and actually being interested. If you're committed, you'll find a way to get something done.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're interested, you're going to find an excuse not to do it.
I'm thinking.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah. So
I'm thinking more like if you asking somebody else to do something and that person is secure and they don't want to do it. Like, for example, if I'm like, Liam, come be a basketball coach, but you like, I'm okay, but that has nothing to do. You just like, you don't want to do that because
see,
you're
if you
focusing on something
truly
else.
know me though, I've already been through all that. I don't go backwards.
That's what I'm saying.
So, but I
just-
will communicate to you that
Yeah.
I've already done that. It's not like I'm just going to say,
Okay.
"No, I got
So-
this, I got this." I'm gonna let you know.
So it's how you respond.
Yeah.
Not okay. So if you like, I'm good without, but
Right, with
okay.
no explanation. Yeah. If I
mean-
care about you, I'm gonna give you an explanation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
But
that
I
way you don't
don't-
ask me the same thing 3 different ways.
But I don't think like nobody actually. I don't think as a person. I don't think anybody needs explanation from you because they don't. It's not like something. What is it called? It's not something that you must. You know what
Right.
I mean?
No, you don't have to give an
explain it.
explanation.
That's what I'm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. And
But I'm saying if that person doesn't give you an explanation, then that might not be the person you're gonna ask to do something else. That's all. It shows you, it reflects their interest in you, how they respond to you. That's all. Yeah. All right, real quick. Steps to start a business. Number 1, look for a huge problem affecting either the majority of the super rich. Devise a great solution. Build a committed team. Target a specific segment of the population first. Find the right investors. Initially dominate a small market, then scale the solution. So if you can follow those 7 steps without jumping around, don't start with trying to scale something before you even, tried to market out, with what it is. If it's not a problem that a lot of people that are not trying to look for the answer for, you're probably not gonna make much money in that either. You know, so I mean, you might have the best looking, I don't know, mugs, coffee mugs or something. But that if somebody doesn't want coffee mugs, that's a bad business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, when I went to Africa 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I went to the refugee camp that I came from, and I seen a lot of problems that I could solve, or anybody that saw the same thing I could solve, and it kind of makes sense. There was this guy, Nigerian guy, he went back to Nigeria and started a cell phone tower business because they needed it. And he was born here. His dad, only his parents are Nigerian, but he went there, saw an issue, and was able to solve that issue. And it wasn't something like, well, I could do it here. It's just wherever is needed.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, same problems don't exist in 2 places sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody went to India the one time and they saw all these people running around in those shoes. And one guy said, well, this is just a poor neighborhood. The other person saw, well, if I can create a cheap shoe, everybody could have shoes. And like I said, the money is
Now it'll be a
going to be
business.
there. Yeah, now you got a business.
I think the moral of the story is try to see the beauty in everything.
Yeah.
Because we talked about, over the COVID, like, people are seeing COVID as a bad thing, but like people who are, who have a purpose, who are business minded, they look for the beauty and what that situation can conjure up in terms of, changing.
Yeah, no problems, just opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean, they see the opportunity in everything.
Yeah.
So, okay. Feel the feeling, but do not become the emotion. Think about
Yeah.
it.
Like this
Feel
on
it.
that.
Yeah, you have to feel the feelings. If you don't feel it, then you just become,
Yeah.
it just gets kind of cold.
That's-
So, but when you become the emotion, what's end up
React
happening
to
is
it.
that controls you.
Yeah.
You don't want emotion control. You want to control your emotions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But still be able to understand.
Yeah, so you want to witness it, allow it, and release it. That way you're processing that emotion, and it doesn't have to control your life. A lot of people get into that
I
point.
think a lot of people just like
Man,
feel
they
it
become
and
it.
let it
They become it right away. I'm like, wow. Yeah.
But no, that's a good one though.
Yeah. So that's when your mind actually controls your body, or your body actually controls your mind because your body's reacting to what your mind's thinking. And then when your body controls your mind, that's bad. You want your mind to control your body. Yeah. All right. So sometimes you must stay busy so you don't have time to feel. I know that's going to hit a little
Sometimes you
bit.
have to stay busy.
Stay busy so you don't have time to feel.
I can respect that.
Yeah.
I'm
Is
not.
that
too
good or
much-
bad?
It's bad.
Is it bad? Why?
I mean, I feel it every day. I don't do much of nothing, and
That's a little different. I mean, you're
Yeah.
the opposite side, yeah.
Yeah, and
'Cause
the
some people
thing
stay
is-
so busy they never feel anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're not as busy, so you can
I'm
feel
like,
everything.
Then you go do some dumb stuff, and
Yeah.
So you want to put something there so you don't get time to do the dumb stuff, as I see it.
Okay.
I think even like, I've worked with people that, they have problems somewhere, they have issues somewhere else, and they just try to make themselves busy. And like a little thing happened, those emotions that they were suppressing, they're completely released on people that have have nothing
even
related
any
to
idea
you
what-
know
yeah.
what I mean?
So
So
say
like
if you-
somebody flipping on you for no reason, you're like,
It's like if you don't fix a wound or a cut inside, you're going to bleed on people that didn't create it.
that's
Oh.
exactly
That's
what
the
it
idea.
is.
Yeah, you
and
gotta be-
and there's a lot of people that way. Like
Yeah. Walking around with
yeah,
trauma.
like
That did all-
it's bad
It's
where like
unsuppressed.
you going off on somebody that had nothing to do and maybe that person needed it. I don't know.
Maybe they need that blood.
but I'm just saying like it's a lot.
Okay. Now, there's a difference between nice people and kind people. Okay, you don't really want to be nice all the time because you get taken advantage of, but you want to be kind. You want to love everybody.
I like
nice,
that.
nice people are what's called people pleasing. Okay, if you're nice and you're always doing what other people want you to do, you really don't take into consideration what you need yourself. Whereas
Right.
opposed to kind people, you treat others and yourself, with respect. And like I said, it won't really, bother you as much. So nice people actually have a lack of healthy boundaries. So they don't really say no very much. They just say, yeah, I'll help you. You know, they got some kind of complex. Whereas kind people are mindful of personal boundaries. So if you have your own personal boundaries, then I took a class one time. It says, don't take anybody else's monkey on your back. It's like you cannot fix somebody else's problem. They have to fix it themselves. I mean, you can be aware of it. You can try and provide resources and, you know, change environments. But beyond that, they got to fix it. Nice people actually avoidance of uncomfortable stuff. You know, they'd rather try and fix it right away, where really that uncomfortability is what actually is going to make that other person fix it. You know what I mean? They're taking away that blessing. Kind people, clear and direct communication. Nice people, you know, it's all about feelings. Need for approval, validation from others. And really, if you're kind, you're being true to your own values and feelings. So like I said, you got to understand that other people's problems are other people's problems.
Definitely.
You can help them, but that doesn't mean you can take it on.
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry to say this, but being a good person or a nice person doesn't get you loved. It gets you used.
Oh my God.
That's exactly what it gets you. So you can be nice if you want to, but understand if you're being nice, you're going to get used.
Oh, definitely.
If you want to be helpful, you'll be kind and be able to, you know, help that person through, walk them through that, you know, the fire, whatever they're in.
Right.
But you can't take them out of it because they're in there for a reason.
I think
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's facts.
it's just the fact that you have to be able to learn how to balance it, right? You know, you don't want to be a complete, you know,
Cold.
cold, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
No heart. Yeah.
Back off.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like you don't want to babysit somebody either, because at some point you're gonna have to. That baby's
You got to
gonna have grow.
understand. Yeah. That baby is not going to grow if you keep doing stuff for it.
Yeah.
It's going to stay a baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So.
it's the mama's boys, not shit.
Yeah, mama's boy is a little different than the daddy's, you know, kind of love. It's different.
Daddy's girls or the mama's boys.
Yeah. Okay, so you have 4 zones you got to leave in October. These are the zones you want to leave. Number 1 is your comfort zone. You have to take calculated risks if you want to achieve any meaningful goals. The way you get out of the comfort zone is by taking massive action. That'll make you move. Remember I told you about circumstance.
Yeah.
If you're inside a circle, just move. Then the circumstance changes. You know what I mean? So it takes action to get out of your comfort zone.
Just like the same thing as being outside of the box. Don't be
Think outside the box. Yeah,
think
don't
outside,
let
just
the
be
don't let
outside of the box.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one you want to leave is comfort zone. Second one is the blame zone. Let me see if y'all got anything to say about that.
I don't. I completely stopped blaming myself. I take responsibility of everything.
Or blaming anybody else.
No, because I'm trying to see what can I do better to make that situation better next time. You know.
Yeah,
All right. So blaming the government, your parents, ancestors, friends, family members, and none but a waste of time. You don't control any of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I don't know the
take
parent thing. I
responsibility.
don't know because you know
You can blame your parent until you're 55,
Yeah.
or you can just stop blaming and do it yourself.
No, because we talked about generational wealth, right? The decisions that your parents make, the financial decisions that your parents make right now,
Oh, that
can affect
definitely
you
affects you.
for you know.
It can
yeah,
if you allow it.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like that boat in the middle of the ocean. If the boat doesn't let the water in, it's not going to sink.
Yeah.
So you don't have to let their decisions. They actually affect what you look like when you're born. They don't affect, you know,
Yeah,
when you-
after
you know,
you're
your
grown
choices affect
Yeah.
what you look like when you die. Okay, so blame zone, get rid of it. Pity zone. Stop being dramatic, using emotional tactics to fence off your inability to succeed. The world isn't fair. Create and innovate with your skills and employ yourself. Okay, when you have control over what you're doing, you don't have to pity, you know, other people. You don't have to pity anything, you know, so get out of that. Last one is hostage zone. Never allow other people to treat you as a doormat in your relationships. Stop the hostage situation when you're forced, you're sacrificing so much but receiving nothing back. That's that nice person. You know, they're always taking stuff.
So much
Yeah.
and leaving. That's crazy.
Yeah. So make your boundaries. Make this month your month of self-regulation, self-realization, and self-discovery. Okay. Once you build yourself, you can help some other people.
That's what
I told
say.
you, when you build yourself, you are the tide that rises and everybody comes up with you.
I know, but you guys didn't agree with me last
I didn't
week.
say get to the top and just say, come here.
No,
that's not what I said.
That was
Okay,
not
that's
the
what I
analogy.
got. Yeah.
We
I
agreed with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said
Just how you said it.
your cup has to be. So first of all, you have to be able to.
Yeah, you gotta
Have-
give from your overflow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
all I was trying
Okay.
to say.
All right.
Yeah, you can't give, you know, when you don't have overflow.
Correct. If
Yeah.
you do, then you're making another person a thief. They're taking what you
taking
need.
You, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're stealing from yourself, honestly. Cause
well,
you
you're
don't
giving
want
it. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
dumb enough to give it to them. Yeah,
Give it to
okay.
them, yeah.
This one's gonna hit hard. The heaviest things in life are not iron and gold, but unmade decisions. So just think about that for a second.
Yeah.
The heaviest
Shut
thing
up,
in life are
yeah.
unmade decisions. Okay, the reason why you're stressed is because you have decisions to make. Think about anytime you're stressed, you're not making them. Decisions we make are actually predicated on the conversations we need to have. A lot of times we don't make decisions because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. You don't want to call somebody out for what they're doing wrong. But the whole time you're not making that decision, they're holding you back from where you're trying to go.
Simple.
So really, like I said, the weight that comes on you and the stress that comes on you from not making a decision, they say like the ultimate and ultra rich people, they're quick to make decisions and they're slow to try and change their ideas. They're slow to try and change what they're doing because they know if they make a good decision, it's going to work, but it takes time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so the idea
I mean,
is,
go ahead.
as I say, the idea is just to make a decision quickly, even if you have to eventually change what you're doing. But if you sit around thinking about it all the time, it's not going to do anything but hold you back.
Yeah, it's gonna bring more worry than
I think
anything.
it's just the same thing as, taking a risk.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of, and I'll be honest, I mean, I've been in that category where I was scared to
Everybody.
take off.
Yeah,
risk.
everybody.
But the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. But it's also, when you take a risk, don't expect it to happen just like that. It takes time. It takes discipline. It takes,
Think of things. Think of how it
Consistency.
grows. You have to plant it. You have to water. You have to feed it. Then it grows down first. Then it grows up. Like I said,
Yeah.
you have to wait for it.
you gotta see it down there first. Don't.
Okay, so you want to eliminate options, force yourself to act. The reason why unmade decisions are so heavy is because the whole time you're thinking about and planning out scenarios in your head instead of just deciding, it actually causes something called anxiety cost. So you walk around, worried about things, what if this don't work? It changes how you think. It does all kinds of stuff like that. So you have an unmade decision. Every second you think about that unmade decision could have been avoided if you just made that decision. So just make the decision. Don't worry about the anxiety costs. Deal with the consequences. If you do not risk, there is no reward.
Simple.
Yeah.
Don't do
So you
nothing,
have
nothing
to,
happens.
if you want any type of reward, you have to risk something. All right. So we wonder why some people are 21 years old and all of a sudden they're millionaires already. They have made those decisions quicker than the average person. The average person is taking 10, 20 years to make that one decision. If they would have just made it back 20 years ago, they'd have been where they're at now.
Yeah, I read
crazy.
something about Sylvester Stallone and like his first Rocky, which was very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
Okay.
but it wasn't like a 21-year-old millionaire or anything like that.
Right.
That's very interesting fact though.
Yeah, it's the fact that, like I said, they are able to make a decision where the average person's like, well, what if it doesn't work? What if my parents don't agree with it?
Yeah.
Make a decision, see what
Your
happens.
parent ain't gonna live your life.
Yeah.
I read a quote a couple of days ago saying that if you're up at 1 a.m. every night, you don't know what you're doing. You haven't figured it out yet, or you didn't make a decision.
Uh-oh.
It
He
depends
coming.
what you talking
coming
about.
at you.
No,
Coming
I'm
at you.
saying like
Yeah, I know. It's-
You might be doing things like little things that make you feel good, but like if you really think what rich person is staying up until
Most of the world doesn't
Yeah.
operate at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not up at that time.
Yeah.
All the time. I'm just saying, but it depends what you're doing.
No, yeah.
You know,
I mean,
Some people work overnight.
Yeah.
That's not.
no, that's not.
That's not a good way to go either.
Yeah.
That's a job.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. Just like I think it's to target young people that stay up all night playing
Yeah.
video games or just don't have
Oh,
a clue.
that's-
And it's just like what you were saying earlier. The people that are 21 and millionaires, they made that decision earlier, right?
For sure.
They're like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do from now to whatever until I succeed. But the people that are playing video games all night or whatever, that's for that.
Yeah.
I see it during the school day. You're talking about kids looking
Zombies?
like zombies.
Yeah.
God. And all you gotta do is say hi, good morning. What? I'm like, wow, I hit the zombie button. You know what I'm saying? It's like something ain't right here.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna switch the ideas a little bit. We'll talk about faith. Do you guys remember where faith comes from?
Faith.
Yeah, where does your faith come from?
I
Your
would say
belief.
From
It's your beliefs.
From
yeah,
your
from your
source, I
heart.
believe.
heart, yeah.
So you're saying that your heart produces faith?
Faith.
You guys got this answer right last time I asked you. Your faith actually comes from your
Your source.
it
Yeah, I
does come
said
from your
that, but yeah.
source.
But
okay?
isn't your heart connected to your
It's
source?
more your spirit is connected to your source. But yeah, you're right. I mean, your faith actually comes from the hearing from the word of your source. So whatever the source
So yeah,
says,
the Quran, the Bible, all that.
you got to understand. that everything was already made before it got started. You know what I mean? So what you read about in the Bible or Quran or something like that is actually going to already have happened. So those are the promises. Your faith actually takes personal possession of a promise from God. You cannot take that personal possession from God, the promise of God, to make it true in your life unless you have faith. So God will give you that faith to take that possession. So God has actually put peace in the spiritual bank of every person that believes in him. But that doesn't mean every person that believes in him has peace. Okay, because if you don't have faith, that's the withdrawal slip. Okay, so like I said, until you get that withdrawal slip, you can't take out what's already there. Everything that you're going to know, everything that God has told you is all in there. The only way you get it out is by having faith. All right? Because you need that withdrawal slip of faith to withdraw peace from your account. It was actually put there by grace. With withdrawals, you cannot take stuff out with works. A lot of people think if I do real well, he's going to do. No, it's not. It doesn't work that way. You know, when you believe into him, then he will pour into you.
Yeah.
But he's already poured into you. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
funny part about it. Most people don't
Might not
realize
realize it.
everything what you have is already in there. I mean, I haven't got plugged in. I haven't got no upgrades until I actually change my mind for what I'm trying to do. That's the upgrade you're looking for.
All right.
Okay?
I mean, the new operating system, you know?
Yeah, it's your new operating system, but you're thinking like him. You're thinking like your creator. You know what I mean? And he's the one that knows how to do everything. So, okay. So,
I mean, then, just to cut you off,
go ahead. Yep.
then I think like the AI thing, that if it's the creator now, if the
So now we are just like our creator trying to create something like that's supposed to be like us.
yeah.
So we're just doing the same thing God did, but we're not supposed to. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Think about that. That's like
Yeah.
deep,
Oh,
though. If
no,
you
we
don't-
think we're God. That's the people that are doing that AI stuff think
Yeah.
that they are God. They can reproduce human thought, human consciousness. all
I
that
was just
stuff.
trying to connect those together.
Yeah.
Because that kind of
That's dangerous because that's just like having, two, like producing babies and stuff without any
babies producing babies.
Yeah.
Like that movie we'll watch with the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we actually try and get things through works. We think we can do good works and we can get something from our source, and it doesn't work. Okay, works are no good. Lack of faith renders God's powers ineffective in your life. So some problems actually get fixed by the closer you get to, the more you read about, the more your faith gets stronger. Okay? It says in the Bible, according to your faith be it unto you. So how strong your faith is how much you're going to get from your source, without a doubt. Some people need to be touched or have like some kind of a vision. Some people need just to hear the word.
Yeah.
Some people need to, like I said, be in proximity, like going to church all the time. That's different
Everybody
ways.
got different experiences.
Yeah.
But whatever floats your boat, though.
Yeah. Whatever makes you faithful. That faith will withdraw what he actually has for you.
Yeah.
It's like he has this whole storeroom up in heaven of all these blessings and gifts. But unless you at home and you're connected to him, Amazon tries to bring it to your house, it can't go. You don't know where you're at unless you're close. Yeah, Amazon, you'd be bringing stuff.
You need to have an address or something.
Yeah, if you don't got your address, it ain't coming. So
Interesting.
okay, so I'm gonna move on. Now, this one's even worse. This one's tougher. Difference between projection and holding somebody accountable. Okay, there's something called projection infection. You can actually catch a disease or an illness from this projection stuff. Okay.
Okay.
The definition for projection infection, just for our conversation here, is when I see myself through someone else's wound. Okay, think about it. When I'm sitting there ripping on you, that's called me projecting my hurt or my wound onto you. Oh, you ugly, you stink, you smell. Like I said, that's telling you that that's what I feel about myself. There's a wound inside me that needs to be fixed. I'm bleeding, and I'm trying to get you with it. Trying to make you feel bad.
Yeah.
Okay? So it becomes an illness when I see through their trauma, their fears, or their lives, or how they live. All right, so you don't want that to happen to you. Okay, our words can either be poison or medication. How can your words be poison or medication? Think about it. How can your words be poison?
I feel like poison medication is a lot similar, but
It's similar.
yeah,
It just does two different things.
Yeah, it does too similar. Yeah,
If you get poison, that's one thing. If you
Oh,
get
yeah, yeah.
medicated, you get it's close
Yeah.
to.
I think
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think, you could say something to somebody and completely decimate how they feel and like completely just
That would be
make
the
them
poison.
feel worse. Yeah,
Right.
poison just make them feel less, make them feel unimportant, make them feel. I think that can only happen to people who are insecure, who are not connected to their source. all that stuff.
Right.
And you could tell somebody that just needed a little bit of, just a little bit of push. You can say something to them, and that could be something that they could, like, okay, well, thank you for that. Like, kind of use that, whatever you say. It could be the same thing.
So that's a medication. Remember, think about pills that you take right now. What does it?
They only
that you
treat.
take
does it
right
cure?
now.
No,
Yeah,
it
no.
treats. So all you're doing is treating a symptom
Yeah.
of what's actually in the root.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I'm saying it could be, you could say the same word, right?
say the same word to two different people. And
Yeah.
have two
Depending
different.
on if, whoever, one person can take it as a poison and he could completely, decimate them and never want to be around you or never even think they could think they're less than. You can tell somebody else, be like, all right, well, thank you for that. Now I'm going to do better and I'm going to go to my full potential.
Strong. Okay. All right. So explain this. Let truth be your multivitamin. So think about what a multivitamin.
do?
You
I
take
don't
them
do that.
daily,
Oh.
and it's basically just supposed to help your system keep up with the different, ingredients that's in a multivitamin. It could be a B complex, A vitamin, just a vitamin. If you eat regularly, eat the right stuff, you don't really need a multivitamin. But people that don't feed themselves, daily what they're supposed to eat, they'll eat a multivitamin. But how can you let truth be your multivitamin? Or why would you want to
It'll
let truth?
keep feeding truth in your life. So you're going to just keep telling the truth or just being around the truth as I see it.
Okay, what does the truth do to somebody?
What did the truth do to somebody?
Yeah.
Realistically, it brings them to reality
Okay.
as I see it.
And what does bringing them to reality do? Obviously, you're in your head. I'm trying to get to your heart. You're right.
I'm trying to.
When
I'm-
it-
go ahead.
When
You
you
can
bring
think while
somebody
he's
to
talking.
reality, it's like from a point of view, it brings them a vision,
Okay.
a different vision of looking at it. That's how I look at it.
So if you get enough truth, do you get to your actual identity?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the idea is to try and get you back to where you started.
You can go though.
No, that's all right. I mean, the idea of asking question on top of question is that you have a mind answer of something, but your heart answer is the correct one. And I asked you 3 or 4 different ways. I'm going down, low, 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 low. So the lower you get, the closer you get to the actual truth of what the answer is.
No.
So you're right. I mean, your whole thing was right. Okay, whoever has access to your ear constantly will have an impact on how you see.
Oh, definitely.
How they speak is tied to how you hear, and how I hear is tied to how I see. So think about that. Whenever
repeat
somebody
that
has,
again.
whenever someone has access to your ear
Yeah.
constantly, they're actually going to have an impact on how you see,
Mm-hmm.
and how they speak is tied to how you hear. And like I said, your faith actually comes from hearing,
Yeah.
words. So how I hear is tied to how I see. So what am I trying to say there?
I mean, it's basic, but it twists
So
up a lot
whoever
of
has
the words.
access to your ear
Yeah.
constantly will have an impact on how you see. So it's important to watch who you hang out with.
Yeah. Visualize. most
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
things.
Because I'm saying their vision might be, come into yours. Their wants, their desires, their needs and stuff might come into yours because how they speak is going to determine how you see things.
Right.
So if you're hanging out with somebody that is on the right track, say is an entrepreneur and has confidence in himself, you're going to act differently than hanging out with somebody who just plays video games all night and does whatever they want to do and is not going anywhere.
Right.
All
I
right.
think it's just the more people, like the people that you're around, you're always influenced by the people that you're around.
Mm-hmm.
It's
So it's important to pick the right ones.
absolutely. It's not even pick. I think
Oh,
it's
you
more
pick
like
your people.
I think it's more
If you
like
don't, then you're in trouble.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
'Cause
saying you have a
sometimes-
choice.
because sometimes you could pick a person, because there's some people that have multiple personas. You know what I mean?
yeah. But that's where you got to have a fall season, though.
It's time to get rid of it. Yeah.
But I just think like, and you could be around people that you just want to be around them to learn. I guess that is pick, but it's
Because there's
just-
people out there that don't want to learn anything. They
Yeah.
think they know it all.
yeah, of course.
You could pick that person.
Yeah.
But you actually draw, or you're magnetic to who you're comfortable with, So, I mean, like I said, if you have a bunch of know-it-alls around you, if you're the
like-
smartest person in the room, it's time to move. It's
Yeah.
time to go to a different room because you need to learn, Okay, so when someone's speaking to me and I feel negative, that means I may be seeing through their negative lens. So you have to watch out when that happens. When someone's communicating, I hear that means that they're actually projected on me. So they actually made me negative with how they are talking, around me. So when you actually hear that going on, you can actually refuse to allow their wound to become your lens.
For sure.
That's the idea.
And
Like
if I
said.
disagree, I'm going to if I disagree, I'm going to refuse most likely.
Right. But if you're around enough people of the same, then it's going to be harder and harder to disagree. You know what I mean? That's the idea.
Yeah,
okay?
I understand the point.
So truth actually is projection is a reflective mirror. So you'll see, like if I'm always mad or negative or whatever, you're going to see that I'm going to project that on everybody around me. So that's actually a mirror. You can see the tree and tell what it is by the fruit. The fruit is how they're behaving, how the fruit is. You know.
Yeah,
So
you can't plant an orange and expect.
no, you're not getting cherries out of that orange tree. If you do, then something funny.
Yeah.
That means it's made up by, okay. So you want to refuse to accept or meditate on any perception of me that contradicts what God says about me. Okay, that's your baseline. Always what God says about you. I'm the head, not the tail. I'm the lender, not the borrower. What he says about you is what you want to kind of, I guess, compare to what other people are thinking,
Okay.
So now there's a difference between projecting on someone and holding somebody accountable.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens when you hold someone accountable? What do you hold them accountable to? Think about it. This is a hard question,
How
actually.
do you hold like
You hold somebody accountable basically like, say someone's acting a fool. I'm not projecting on them saying that you're not supposed to be doing that because if you actually put it to God's word about what they're supposed to be, that's the only thing you can really hold them accountable to.
Okay.
Because you can have your own perception, you can have your own
'cause
feelings
I don't think
about
you
how
can
they
hold
should act,
accountable.
but that ain't truth.
Yeah. You can
Truth
say,
is-
but you can't really hold them accountable.
Well,
to
I'm saying
anything.
you can actually just tell them, I'm not going to hang with you if you keep acting a fool.
Oh, I mean that's
Yeah,
understandable.
that's
an
called holding them
ultimatum.
accountable.
Yeah.
But not because I don't like you, don't mean
But I think it depends. It depends who you're saying it to. Because some people might be like, "Well, that person's watching out for me." Some people, no
Yeah.
matter how,
Oh,
no matter what you
depends
say,
on what they
they're
want.
still going to be the victim.
Yep.
They're still going to be the like, well, how can you say that to me? You know what I mean?
Right.
It depends on who you, depending on what, like the growth of that person.
Mm-hmm.
It could be holding them accountable. It could be it could be something that where they might, well, he's just self-reflecting on me.
Mm-hmm.
It just really depends on the actual person.
Absolutely. So what someone else thinks about me isn't my responsibility to change.
Ah, heck no.
You can't change the other person's idea of what you are, okay?
Yeah.
Every person who watches me has a different perception of me.
Everybody got a different idea.
Everybody got their own lens, okay? So being called comes with critics. So if you're on the right path and you're trying to change your mind the way your source's mind is, people are going to look at you funny. They're going to wonder
Yeah.
why you're acting the way you are.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
But you do it right and you get the blessings from it, they're going to figure out that's the way to go.
Yeah, they support you a lot when you're winning.
Yeah,
when you're
I'm
going
saying,
up.
but you're going to be winning. You're going to get God's blessings
Yeah.
if you got the faith and you're
For sure,
able
for
to
sure.
use the withdrawal slip to get what you want. So what is the opposite of faith?
It's the opposite of faith.
This is you'll
I never
get
thought
this one.
about it.
I know we're getting a little deep.
I mean, I think
If you don't have faith, so what's the opposite?
ego.
Ego?
Yeah. Because you're taking God out. Because God is what gives you, through His teachings, what He gives you faith.
Okay, I don't know why this says this, but the opposite of faith is sight.
And
Where do you get
need-
that
How
from?
would you explain it?
That's what I'm
asking
saying.
y'all.
Sight,
He said, where'd you
okay,
get that from?
Bro, yeah.
I know he got an answer.
Yeah, that's a
The
good
opposite
answer,
of faith
but I
is
don't-
sight.
Okay, so I think if you go back to, whoever is in your ear, right, is what you see. So whoever is telling you is what you see.
Right.
So in terms of that, like if you don't have faith, because your ear is another point of access. Somebody can change the way you know what I mean, the way you see things.
Yep.
And also your faith can also, show you what you see things, right?
Right.
So if you don't have faith, then you're gonna have somebody else, control.
So what do you have to rely on if you don't have faith? You have to rely on your sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say so.
So everything around you is going to control what you think about everything.
What if
so you're being
somebody
controlled by
can't
your
see?
environment.
So what is their faith?
So if you don't have if you can't see anything, you're going to have some. Yeah, your heart is going to have to
Yeah,
be able
okay.
to be a feel, around. But
Yeah. When I say ego, I was thinking completely different, but
Yeah.
you're kind of saying, hand by hand. So if you don't,
I still agree on your point.
yeah, see, if I see something that looks almost impossible to do, but I have faith
yeah,
that everything's possible, then I don't have to rely on my sight.
yeah.
So that's why it's opposite. You know what I mean? Because if you're always relying on your sight and you're always taking everything for what it looks like, you have no faith.
Yeah, for sure.
Not only that like what you see might be different from somebody else.
Everybody
Like,
sees differently, without a doubt. It depends upon what the faith they have.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, it depends on what what is coming from the.
That's
what's
that comes
being
in your
influenced.
ear. Actually,
Yeah.
where does faith come from? From hearing of the word. So it comes in as faith.
Yeah.
And sight, like I said, is just a way that we have sight, so we don't go walking on the walls and jumping off bridges and stuff. But we're not really supposed to be led by sight. We're supposed to be led by our faith.
If you believe
like
you can
this
go
on that.
through the wall, you.
You can go through a wall. I swear. You get enough tools and stuff. I'm going through this wall.
Yeah. Oh,
Man, you got to use your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was,
I'm not
your
just
life
walk
is
through it.
threatening. You're like, man, I'm
Yeah, I
walking.
Okay, so opposite of faith is sight. So perception births projection, whereas perspective births objective. Okay, so perception births projection. So perception is how you see things.
yeah.
That's going to actually produce, like, I think I can change that, because I see something wrong going on. I think I can change it. And so I'm going to actually project on that person, how to change that.
Right.
That's not my job. I'm saying I don't want to project. Okay. I want my perspective actually bursts objective, meaning there better be some evidence on how, something should be able to change. If you don't have evidence, I don't want to hear your
I won't
theories.
say that. It
Yeah.
don't got to be always a little bit of evidence. You just got to believe you can do it as well. Though.
Well, belief comes from what? Comes from hearing of the word.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's evidence. The word's the
I mean,
evidence.
you can
I'm saying
consider
it-
that as evidence, but
Yeah.
and other people.
See, if
they
you're
want you
trying to do
bring-
something that no one else has ever done,
There's no
you need
evidence
faith
of
to
it.
do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, like I said, your perspective is going to come out of, what evidence you have, So, okay. So wound awareness, if you don't want to project on others and you want people projecting on you, you have to be aware of what, is driving that person's behavior. So wound awareness, evidence awareness is when you make an accusation about a person without even knowing them. You walk up to somebody, oh, you're miserable. You're mad at. So you're actually projecting on them without any kind of evidence. That person might have just lost their dad last night or something. You don't know.
You don't know what's
All
going
right.
through.
So feelings aren't facts.
That's
Yeah,
true.
feelings are just feelings.
not
They
facts.
change.
Well,
We
what's
could
a
tell.
feeling? Feeling's an emotion.
Yeah,
What's an
it's
emotion?
emotion.
Where does that
It
come from? Any idea?
Energy in motion.
Yep. Emotions, energy, emotion. So
Yeah.
that means after a situation, your body produces a feeling about that situation. It's going to go away or it's
Right,
going
right.
to get suppressed. And like I said, it depends upon what you do with it. So feelings aren't facts and thoughts can lie without
For
a
sure,
doubt.
thoughts can lie. It's just
Okay.
a thought.
That's how you think.
Yeah. So next thing you want to do is challenge every thought. You're supposed to take every thought captive. If you challenge it and put it towards what God thinks about it, then you'll know if it's a lie or limited
that's
idea
not
explained or it's a truth.
Yeah.
Okay. So you believe what God says more than what the situation says.
Oh shit.
If God says everything is possible through through what I do,
Nah,
doesn't
yeah, he
matter what
already
it is.
said.
He already said it.
Yeah.
And if he's already said it, that means it already happened.
Right.
So when you get to that point where you believe that, then everything will be possible for you. Okay? So you want to consider the source. So whatever's churning within will be projected without. So
Whatever's
something
turning?
Churning. Like anything that's like bothering me,
Okay.
I will project it out to try and get rid of it.
True. True.
Yeah. All right. So this one is deep.
See how deep it is.
This is deep. But you have to pick up your boots here. Okay. God created the world around us with his word. Okay. It says in the Bible and in the Quran,
Yeah.
that he spoke to the seas and made, the fish. He spoke to the air, made the birds,
Right.
spoke to himself when he made man.
For sure.
He spoke to, I'm trying to think, the ether they call it, when he made the atmosphere and stuff like that. So with his word, he's also trying to create a world within us with his words from the Bible and the Quran. So you got to
Or
think about
anything-
it. The world
anything that you
inside of you is constantly changing. You change your operating system, you change different things, but how that changes is still from his word. He said, heaven and earth will pass away, but my word will not lose a comma period. I mean, his word will not change.
That's the best way
Because
to
when
do
he
it.
did it, boom, it was done. And he rested and he hasn't done anything since. Like I said, he put seeds of everything inside of itself.
Right.
That's how, if you start understanding the truth about money is nothing, but a concept, and
For sure.
you don't trade time for money, because if you trade time for money, that's two different things.
You
You know what I
lose
mean?
a lot of time.
Yeah, you lose something that's way more valuable than
For
money.
sure.
Okay, so man should not live by bread alone, but every word that comes out of the mouth of God. So it's not just what you eat or what you do. You have to understand what he wants you to do. If you do,
For
then,
sure.
like I said, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So faith comes from hearing of the word of God. So what does the word of God do inside of us and to us when we hear it?
What is the word?
So what
do
does
to
the
it?
word of God do inside of us and
Okay.
to us when we hear it? What does it do? It creates what? Starts with an F.
Faith.
Yeah, it creates
Okay.
faith. Okay, and the idea is when you have that faith, then that word will come true in your life. Doesn't matter,
Uh-huh.
whatever he said, it's already done. I'd say he wrote it and that's how strong he is, and nothing changes. So that's what makes that truth and not facts, because
They
facts
don't
change.
change,
Yeah. Okay, so when we hear the word of God, it will create the faith in you necessary to manifest the promises of what he said he's going to do or what he's basically already done. Okay, so faith is your withdrawal ticket for God promises. There's two different types of creation, objective creation and subjective. Objective is the world around you.
Right.
Subjective, think you're a subject underneath him. So you're creating a world within us by using his word. So we are the subject of creation. All right. There's 4 reasons why God actually speaks to us. And how does God speak to us, first of all? Any idea?
Pray.
Yeah.
Pray, right?
When you pray to him, he
Yeah.
speaks back. Okay, yeah,
Through our thoughts.
through our thoughts for sure. Imagination,
yeah.
reasoning.
That's 3.
Yeah, no, these are
that's
a
what I'm
little
saying.
different. They're just some of the
Same.
ways that he actually speaks to you. So the first one, the reason why he speaks to you, number one reason is for communication.
Yeah. For
Okay,
sure.
he needs to communicate to you. So he communicates wisdom, understanding, direction, correction, instruction. All right. So when he does that, like I said, you'll know what to do in certain situations and you'll be fine. You'll be blessed, getting through. Okay. The second reason why he communicates with us is for creation. Okay. If he never put his word out there, we couldn't, when he put us on this earth, if we never, they used to try and burn the Bible, burn everything because
Yeah.
they knew that's actually how people elevate, because his word actually creates inside of you a world that, is worth being here. So God speaks to create an amazing world inside you, creating attitudes, beliefs, goals, motivation. We need to expose ourselves to the word of God so God's spirit can cut on us to remove any of the flesh and ego that no longer serves us to be formed in the likeness of his mind, the mind of God. The third reason, potential. Okay, you wouldn't even know any idea about your potential if he did not, have that written, what you're actually capable of doing. So God speaks to uncover and unleash your full potential, build a dynamic world within. So when you connect, resonate, and believe the word of God, it will uncover potential that it's actually hiding. I'm trying to think how to explain that one a little better. His promises, his beliefs, and all that stuff are written in the Bible and in the Quran. That no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Anything, done a certain way, anything's possible. You wouldn't know any of that potential if you couldn't read about it. That's the only way you can really know, And also the fourth one is light. God speaks to us to enlighten us, open our eyes, spiritual reality, universal faith, separate truth from lies. So 4 is communication, creation, potential, and light. The subject of reality, that's kind of like under the other heading there. So whenever you experience something objectively, you must interpret it subjectively. So think about it. When I'm walking down the street and I see a car,
Right.
my mind starts thinking, what is that? Because your eyes are not more than like a lens and a camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can't think. Your eyes don't think. Your mind is what actually, it just reflects.
Yeah.
So your mind actually interprets what it is.
Right.
Now, depending upon what lens you're using, is going to make a difference in how you interpret that. The better your lens, the higher, if you pay $30,000 for a lens, it's going to do better than that $10 lens. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So you're going to see it clearer. You're going to get more color. You're going to get more,
No, I
imagination.
would argue
Go ahead.
it's the person behind the lens.
Okay.
That could
But the
work.
person behind the lens has to see through that lens. So you're right. That person is actually going to be more valuable. The more they develop themselves, the more they read about what they're supposed to be, their lens is going to get stronger.
Yeah.
But like you said, if you don't know how to use that lens, then you're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
I could have that camera and I could still produce a little garbage video and you take it and it's different. But I'm saying you put your time in learning how to use it. And
And I think it's same thing with life too. Like a lot of people are out here walking with $30,000 lenses, but just don't
billion-dollar lenses. But go ahead.
Yeah. Infinite.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. God put stuff in you that he had,
But just, don't know how to use it.
So why don't they know how to use it?
I
We got to talk. But we
I
gotta
mean,
know
as
why
I
it
see it,
works.
is that most people don't know how to use a lot of stuff because they're what's it called? They're usually looking for like a to-do list, somebody to tell them what to do and stuff like that.
So when somebody gives you that to-do list, you're only going to see it the way they see it.
Yeah.
so they, people like to be managed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what they do. And like, because of the environment, and how much society influenced them and what they've been told for years, it's, and depending on other people, blaming, all these are factors that, you have infinite amount of, cost of lens that you don't know how to use because of your environment, what you've been told, what you've been hearing, and, for you to be able to actually have that worth it, you got to reprogram yourself, new operating system.
You're getting it. Okay, in this subjective reality, the mind is the only world in which you have true dominion over. Your mind, your conscious mind, your subconscious mind, and your superconscious mind. So God gave you, control over all that. So your perception is your reality.
For sure.
So the stronger your mind is, the better your life is. Okay, so you got to build that up. So perception is your objective experience means nothing without subjective interpretation. So all things are working together for my good, or no weapon formed against me shall prosper. A lot of the stuff that God talks about in the Bible, or, even like its counterpart in the Quran, you get an idea where you're supposed to go. It's sort of like a blueprint, as opposed to, like a playbook, but it's a blueprint where you can actually plug yourself in and you get stronger and stronger, so you'll prosper. Okay, so you understand you can't control what's going on the outside. Your power relies on how you respond to that situation. Just make sure you know where your power's at. Now, this is a big one about change. God does not change the world without. What does that mean? God doesn't change your objective reality. Objective means like all the objects around you.
Right.
Who made all these objects?
I mean, humans.
Humans.
Yeah.
Okay. What did God provide?
I think the imagination, the thought, and the
Definitely the resources.
the resources for it. Yeah,
This thing right here might have been a tree. I don't know. It might be plastic.
Yeah, most
I don't know.
likely.
But I'm saying it might have been a tree, but we have to have our imagination,
idea.
and ideas.
Yeah.
So God provides the resources, and we have to use our resourcefulness for what we want. So the objective reality was actually created by humans.
Yeah.
Okay, whereas your subject reality, like I said, what's inside you was created by God.
yeah.
Okay, so God does not change the world without. Only we can do that. God changes the world within. So if
So
we
it
start,
changes you.
if we start to pray, He makes you the person that can believe that you can do it.
Yeah.
So He changes your thoughts about yourself. When you read the Word of God, it tells.
I don't think it's such of change though. I think it's more like because everything you already have is already exactly is already
you're
there.
right.
It's not change. It's just now now that you're closer to me, you ask for you've asked for that access, or you've asked for that help. That's when then the blanket comes off.
He reveals
Now,
it to you.
now the light you start seeing the light rather than just being blanketed by
Yeah.
it.
So I asked God, can you please come down here and change? He said, that's what I made you for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to understand. Everything in this reality is for us to change, but He can change us within, So many people pray that God changes our circumstances, but He gave us dominion over the world and our resources. So we create, educate norms, values. We determine what goes on here. God can inspire us with ideas and creativity, and resources. There's nothing that He didn't make the first day that isn't still here. You know what I'm saying? We might use it, but you said, you understand the energy does not, die. It just transforms.
Yeah.
So, we have to learn how to be able to transform energy back to where it was, if we want to start over again. There's things that we could do. But like I said, we can't expect Him to do it for us.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last one is storms. Okay, we are never promised the absence of storms, only the presence of peace. So that's one of His promises. He said He's
Tell
going
you that, man, after a storm is very peaceful.
It can be, yeah.
And I think it's always peaceful.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
I'm
talking
trying
about
to just
having peace inside of that storm.
But
You're right.
I'm
After
trying
a
to
storm,
connect- I'm
it
trying
makes
to
you
connect
really,
nature,
it really makes you think about you know, how peace is compared to a storm, after a storm, you know?
Because you got to think about even like the COVID too. Like everybody's running around, but
Acting a
look at
fool.
the beauty that it has created. Like there's a lot of businesses that have been created. There's a lot more millionaires now than ever. There's a lot more people realize, why am I doing a 9 to 5 stuck into a cycle of, you know, to make other people rich, right? That's the beauty of a storm. You know, it brings like new. It grows new crop. It brings new things. It brings peace, and you know, like, because everything changes. We know this. The only thing that doesn't change is God. Everything else is, you know, it's supposed to change, and change is good.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, so I'm looking at it like that way. Like
Hey, you looking
I
at
try
it a
to
good
connect
way.
nature, human, everything in like life. And like that's what we need to learn, because like there's a lot of hidden information in nature, how we live, in the smallest thing, and we take that for granted so much. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay. So we're actually promised the presence of peace because in the eye of the storm, if you're close enough to God, he can kind of emit his peace onto you. And like I said, I'm sitting there, people can be fighting and everybody's, oh my God, blah, blah. I'm like, that's cool. You know, it's like, that's something that he letting happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm gonna let anybody get injured or anything like that, but the idea is that's a lesson that person needed to learn. And I'd rather them learn it in front of me than out in the middle of the street where somebody might shoot at them. You know what I mean? At least they're not shooting, you know. But like I said, you have to try and find that peace that God gives you in the midst of all your storms. Whether your wife is yelling at you, trying to walk out the house, throwing stuff at you, there's got to be a peace there when you're, you know, you start leaning on God and, you know, understand his promises, you know. I mean, it just might not have been for you.
I'm going to give you
Go
an
ahead.
interesting fact.
Yep.
So I took meteorology class last year, and inside of a cyclone or inside of a storm, there's a gap, and that's where like you don't get any rain. There's no updraft of wind or downdraft of anything.
It's called the eye of the storm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's that little part that you're talking about. You can be around all this storm and still be.
Yeah, it's like a metaphor, really. Yeah, it's like a metaphor saying about, you know, you have to be able to, and how do you do that though? Because you know I'm gonna come at you.
How do you do that?
How can you be peaceful?
It's not that it's something that you do. You just something that you are. You become. You know.
There's actually some of the bulls, you know, in the middle of like tornadoes and stuff like that. They'll actually run to where the storm is the worst because once it goes by there, then it's calm right behind it.
Oh yeah, that's
You know,
funny.
they do that. But, you know, that a lot of times when we're out in the Atlantic or something and trying to find out the wind strength of, you know, the actual storms, they'll be putting, you know, stuff up in the air, you know, and they'll keep it towards the eye. That way they can measure, you know, because if they put it here, it's just going to get thrown.
Yeah, I mean, they even take planes up in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You
But
just
I
have to
think
watch where you're going.
it's going back to that is understanding, you know, understanding this situation does need to happen, and it comes to where like you're not a person that reacts, it's a person that responds, right? And your responding is understanding. You understand, well, this needs to happen for a change to happen,
Right.
or for something new to come out. So that's what I'm saying. It's more of like you it's not something that you do, it's something that you become. It's seeing the beauty in everything.
Okay.
You know, storms do bring new things, and you understand that storms need to happen in order for this to happen.
Okay.
Change.
All right. So I'm just trying to wrap up a little bit here. So principles of truth are actually God's automation. So the more principles you know, the more truths you know. That's how God made this earth, you know, and that's his automation because he doesn't have to come down and take care of everything. I mean,
Explain it.
yeah, that's how he explains. It's like as far as like he made gravity. You know what I mean? I don't care how strong you are, how thick you are. It's
Nah,
like
you're not
gravity's
fine,
going to
yeah.
whoop your butt.
Oh, for
A
sure.
principle will win every time because he doesn't have to, God isn't punishing you for jumping off a building.
Yeah.
You have to understand that principle is there. And if you understand that principle is there, then you can actually figure out how to lift and how to fly a plane.
Yeah.
Like I said, the idea is God's truth and principles are his
Yeah.
automation for this earth to run.
Know how do you take advantage of it?
Yeah, so he actually says in the Bible, it says, my ways are not your ways, saith the Lord, neither are my thoughts your thoughts. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than yours. The rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and it watereth the earth, and brings forth in bud. So rain and water comes down from the heaven and makes the planet do what it's supposed to do. So shall my word be that goeth out of my mouth. So you got to understand, his word in the Bible, or in, I guess it'd be in the Quran too, that word is going to do what it's supposed to do. It says, my word will complete what it's going to do. It will not come back to me, it's going to do what it's supposed to do. That's the idea. So God's word is like the rain and the snow from heaven. It causes things to be produced inside of us. So you just have to equate that. Like I said, if it stops raining, what happens?
A lot of things dies. Yeah.
Everything's going to die.
Yeah.
So like I said, and the rain falls on the just and the unjust. So he doesn't pick and choose who gets to.
Everybody gets the same amount of
Right.
opportunity
Yep.
to grow.
So that's the idea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's ridiculous that like you can tie a lot of stuff to nature, a lot of how we're supposed to live, and it's the fact that we just ignore it. And like it's
we almost abhor it. It's like some people don't even go into nature.
Yeah.
I get bit up like crazy. Them bugs.
you're
That's
like, I ain't-
got to be eating them Oreos. That's why. It's like, dang, them bugs like that Oreo juice. Something. But
or
I don't know.
or the chocolate chip cookies.
That's what I'm saying. They know who eats the cookies, man. They say, there's a thick one right here.
Oh man, it's crazy. Like, in the camps, it's just we didn't have any like bug spray, and there'll be mosquitoes, there'll be all types, and you get a certain amount of your body gets immune to it.